You wake up at 6:47 a.m. It is exactly 7 minutes before your alarm is scheduled to scream. Your body knows. It has been doing this for 4,847 days, almost 13 years at the same company, or perhaps a series of companies that all feel the same. You lie there in the gray morning light, staring at the ceiling, and you tell yourself the usual lies. You tell yourself it is security. You tell yourself it is a good salary with benefits and a 401 neck match. You tell yourself you are lucky to have this job, but as you stare at that plaster above your head, there is a feeling in your gut you cannot quite shake. It is a heaviness, a gravitational pull that feels less like stability and more like paralysis. You are making more money than your parents ever dreamed of at your age. On paper, you are a success story. Yet, somehow, you feel more broke, more fragile, and more terrified than ever before. In the next few minutes, I will show you exactly why that feeling is not a coincidence. It is not anxiety. It is not paranoia. It is a biological reaction to a cage you cannot see. It is by design. This is the salary chop, and it is bleeding you dry while you smile and say thank you. Let's strip away the illusions and look at the raw mechanics of your life. Let's talk about a person we'll call Mark. Mark is 34 years old. He is the senior manager. He makes $120,000 a year. In the eyes of society, Mark has made it. He is in the top percentile of earners. He should feel rich. He should feel free. He doesn't. Mark gets paid every 2 weeks. That is a gross deposit of roughly $4,600. But the system does not present him with a choice. It does not hand him the cash and say, here is the fruit of your labor. Decide what to do with it. Instead, it performs a surgical extraction before he ever touches a dime. It fragments his energy across invisible channels: federal tax, state tax, Social Security, Medicare. By the time the money hits his direct deposit, it's already down to $3,200. And then the second wave of the attack begins. This is the part Mark thinks he controls, but he doesn't. He has a mortgage on a house that is slightly too big because a man with his job title needs a house that reflects his status. That's $1,800 gone. He drives a German car, leased, because reliability and image matter in his line of work. That's $600 gone, plus another $150 for insurance. He has student loans from the degree that got him the job in the first place. That's the entry fee to the cage, another $400 gone. Groceries, utilities, the internet connection he needs to check work, emails at night, and the smartphone he needs to answer Slack messages on weekends. By the time Mark actually sees the implication of his paycheck, he has already spent 95% of it. He has perhaps $200 left for an entire 2 weeks of discretionary existence. But here is the psychological genius of the trap. Mark does not experience this as deprivation. He experiences it as maintenance. He has the leather seats. He has the granite countertops. He has the streaming subscriptions. The system gives you just enough comfort to stop you from asking why you are not building wealth. It sedates you with toys so you don't notice you are in a prison. This is the salary trap's first weapon, the illusion of prosperity through fragmentation. When money comes in a lump sum and leaves in 1,000 tiny automatic cuts, your brain never fully grasps that you are just treading water. You do not have wealth. You have a lifestyle. And that lifestyle is the very thing that keeps you chained to the desk. You cannot walk away. You cannot take a month off to think. You cannot quit on starting the business you've been dreaming of for 5 years. Because if you stop the machine for even 30 days, the house of cards collapses. The bank takes the house. The repo man takes the car. The credit score you worship like a deity for a decade comes crashing down. You have built a golden cage, and you have locked yourself inside it, and you have handed the key to your employer. But it gets darker. The entire system is engineered to keep you dependent on that next injection of cash. Think about the trajectory you were sold. You were told to get a good education. So you did. You went into debt for it. You mortgaged your future labor to pay for a piece of paper that gave you permission to work. Now, you are hunting for a job to pay back that investment. You find one. Great salary. But the moment you accept that job, something happens. Your lifestyle automatically inflates to match your income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation, but I call it the system's second weapon, the dopamine loop. You get the promotion, and suddenly you feel you deserve the reward. You upgrade the apartment, you upgrade the wardrobe, you start shopping at the premium grocery store. Each increase in salary feels like freedom, but each one actually tightens the noose. Here is why this is a horror story and not just a financial lesson. You are no longer free to leave that job because you need that specific salary to maintain the specific infrastructure of your life. You have built a financial ecosystem that requires constant high-pressure fuel. This is what I call the golden handcuffs. The cruelest part is that you did this to yourself. The system didn't force you at gunpoint. It just presented the option, it marketed the dream, and human psychology did the rest. We are wired to see progress as moving up, acquiring more, and consuming more. We do not see progress in owning our own time. So we move up into a lifestyle that consumes every penny we earn. A CEO making $500,000 a year can be just as trapped, just as terrified, and just as broke as someone making $50,000 if their lifestyle requires $495,000 to maintain. The salary doesn't determine your freedom. The gap between your income and your expenses does. And the system is aggressively, violently designed to keep that gap as small as possible. Let me tell you about a friend of mine, David. David worked in high-frequency trading. He made numbers that would make your head spin. But David was miserable. His cortisol levels were so high that his doctor told him he was a walking heart attack. Every time he thought about quitting, his stomach would drop. Why? Because he had already committed to a $2 million mortgage, private schools for 3 kids, and memberships at clubs he never had time to visit. One day, his firm offered him a massive bonus to stay another year. He felt relieved. He felt grateful. He felt like he had won. 2 weeks later, his property taxes spiked, his roof needed replacing, and his wife wanted a vacation home because everyone else at the firm has one. Just like that, the bonus was allocated before it even hit his account. His financial stress didn't decrease with more money. It stayed exactly the same. The numbers got bigger, but the equation remained unsolved. This is the system's most insidious trick. You are not building wealth with your salary increases. You are just increasing your obligations faster than your income grows. It is why the person making $30,000 a year and the person making $300,000 a year often report identical levels of anxiety. The system is engineered so that your required expenses always catch up. And when you are living paycheck to paycheck, even a substantial one, you are predictable, you are controllable. You are a docile battery powering the matrix. You need that job. You can't take risks. You can't speak truth to power. You can't innovate. You are a guaranteed revenue stream for the banks, for the government, and for the corporations. But you do not actually benefit. You are the host, and they are the parasite. I want you to imagine something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. Imagine you walk into your boss's office tomorrow and quit. You just leave. No backup plan. How many months could you survive? How long until the lights go out? How long until you are hungry? If your answer is less than 3 months, you are not free. You are not successful. You are trapped. And you are not alone. Over 60% of high-earning professionals couldn't sustain their lifestyle for more than 1 month without a paycheck. Think about the terror of that statistic. You are 1 month away from total ruin at all times. That is not security. That is a very comfortable, air-conditioned precariousness. The salary trap convinces you that this is normal. Work, earn, spend. Work harder, earn more, spend more. But this isn't inevitable. It isn't a law of physics. It is a choice that has been made for you, and you have agreed to it by not questioning the premise. But now we have to look outward, because if the story ended there, it would just be a tragedy of personal finance. But it doesn't end there. It gets much, much worse. While you are running on this hamster wheel, trying to keep up with your own lifestyle, the ground beneath the wheel is crumbling. This is where the personal trap meets the macro horror. We are living in a time of unprecedented financial decay. You are fighting to earn a currency that is being debased at a rate you cannot comprehend. You think inflation is 3% or 4% because that is what the government tells you on the news. But look at your grocery bill. Look at the price of housing. Look at the cost of insurance. The real rate of inflation, the rate at which your life is being stolen from you, is closer to 15% or 20%. This means that even if you get a raise, even if you are a good employee and get that 5% bump, you are actually getting a pay cut. You are running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. The central banks are printing trillions of dollars, diluting the value of every hour you work. Your labor is stored in fiat currency, and fiat currency is like an ice cube melting in the sun. You are trading your finite time on this earth, the hours you miss with your children, the stress that turns your hair gray for a paper ticket that buys less and less every single day. The system relies on you not understanding this. They rely on you looking at the number on the check and thinking, I have more, while the purchasing power of that check evaporates. And looming over this crumbling currency is the shadow of obsolescence. We are standing on the precipice of the AI revolution. This is not science fiction. This is the new industrial reality. The job you are clinging to, the skills you spent years mastering, the role that pays your mortgage, it is being taught to an algorithm right now. The system that built the salary trap is preparing to automate the trap. They don't just want to keep you dependent. They are preparing to make you irrelevant. When an AI agent can do your job for pennies on the dollar, what happens to your salary then? What happens to the lifestyle you can barely afford right now? The golden handcuffs won't just be locked, they will be dissolved, leaving you with the debt but without the means to service it. The corporation that claims to value you today will replace you tomorrow without a second thought because their loyalty is to the shareholder, not the battery. So when I say you are in a trap, I am not speaking metaphorically. I am telling you that you are standing in a burning building and worrying about the color of the drapes. The salary illusion is keeping you sedated while the structural integrity of the global economy fractures. You are focused on the next paycheck, but the banks are focused on survival. They know what is coming. They know about the liquidity crunch. They know about the sovereign debt crisis. They are preparing. Are you? Or are you just planning your next vacation on a credit card? The moment you realize your salary isn't keeping you rich, it's keeping you busy enough to not become rich, everything changes. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You start asking different questions. Not how do I get a promotion, but how do I acquire assets? Not can I afford the monthly payment, but does this purchase own me or do I own it? Awareness changes behavior. Once you understand the trap as a system, not a law, you can start to dismantle it. This brings us to the escape plan. And let me be clear, this is not about clipping coupons. This is not about skipping your morning coffee. That is poverty thinking. This is about structural reengineering of your life. First, you must stop confusing income with wealth. A $200,000 salary is income. It is a stream of water. If you turn off the tap, it dries up. $50,000 in gold, silver, or Bitcoin is wealth. It is a reservoir. It exists independently of your labor. One is temporary, the other is permanent. One is permission-based, the other is sovereign. Second, you must attack the gap. You have to intentionally, ruthlessly keep your expenses lower than your income. This feels backward. Your peers will look at you strangely. They will ask why you are driving the old car when you could afford the new one. They will ask why you are renting a modest apartment instead of buying the McMansion. Let them ask. They are the ones in the trap. You are buying your freedom. You need to create a surplus, a gap between what comes in and what goes out. That gap is your lifeline. That gap is the only thing that matters. Third, and this is the most critical step, you must redirect that gap into assets that work for you, not liabilities that work against you. You must stop storing your labor in fiat currency. You must convert your dying dollars into living assets. Real estate that produces cash flow, precious metals that cannot be printed by a central banker, digital assets that are mathematically scarce. You need to build a parallel financial system for yourself that operates outside the salary trap. And most importantly, you must build optionality. The moment you have 6 months, a year, 2 years of expenses saved in hard assets, something shifts psychologically. The fear evaporates. You are no longer trapped. You can walk into that office with your head held high because you don't need to be there. You can negotiate better because you are willing to walk away. You can take risks. You can leave situations that don't serve you. The goal isn't just to earn more. The goal is to become independent from the system's requirement that you must trade your time for survival. Because the moment you don't need the paycheck, you are free. The salary trap is real. It is sophisticated. It is a masterpiece of psychological engineering designed to extract your maximum economic output while keeping you in a state of perpetual anxiety. But it is not inescapable. The people who break free aren't smarter or luckier than you. They just became aware. They saw the system for what it is, a farm, and they realized they were the livestock. They decided that comfort wasn't the same as freedom. They decided that the appearance of wealth wasn't worth the reality of servitude. You have that same choice. But the window is closing. The macroeconomic tides are turning. The era of easy money is over. The era of the stable middle-class job is ending. We are moving into a volatile, unforgiving future where the safety nets are being slashed and the currency is being weaponized. If you wait until the crisis is on your doorstep, it will be too late. You need to build your ark now while the sun is still shining, before the rain starts to fall. Do not let the comfort of today blind you to the reality of tomorrow. Do not let the steady drip of a biweekly deposit lull you into a coma. Wake up, look at the numbers, look at the world, and realize that the only person who's going to save you is you. There is no government bailout coming for your personal finances. There is no corporate pension that will save you from inflation. There is only the gap you create, the assets you own, and the mindset you cultivate. We are entering a new phase of history. The rules of the 20th century no longer apply. The old advice, go to school, get a job, save in the bank, is not just outdated, it is dangerous. It is a roadmap to ruin. You need a new map. You need to understand that the game is rigged, and the only way to win is to stop playing by their rules and start playing by the rules of hard assets and financial sovereignty. As we look toward this uncertain horizon, remember this truth. It will define the next decade of human existence. The divide is no longer between the left and the right, or the white collar and the blue collar. In the coming financial world, there will be no middle class. There will be only two types of people: those who own real assets and those who own dead paper. You have to decide today which side of that line you want to stand on. Do you want to be the person holding the gold, the land, the ownership? Or do you want to be the person holding the lease, the mortgage, and the empty promise of a currency that is burning to ash? The choice is yours, but you must make it now, because here is the final terrifying reality that the salary trap tries to hide from you. The danger is not that you earn too little money. The danger lies in believing that money will hold its value tomorrow. If you found this breakdown valuable, if you want to understand the actual mechanics of building wealth instead of just earning income, if you want to know how to navigate the coming storm, subscribe to this channel. We break down the psychology of money, the systems that control your finances, and how to beat them. New videos every week. Each one gets you one step closer to actual financial freedom. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.